Hey everyone, welcome back to Connor Reads. Today I'm going to be going through a path of Daggers, and there's obviously going to be spoilers from the outset and throughout, so if you haven't read this book, be careful. Outside of that, let's hop into it. So this is the first book of the second half of the series, and I've been really excited to plow on. Going over the halfway point really made me feel like I'm a part of this universe now. And the first scenes we jump into is kind of a meeting near the Blight by a lot of the factions at the top in the Borderlands. And essentially what this meeting is about is they've decided that they need to leave, a certain amount of defense in the Blight, and they need to come down and confront the dragon. And my prediction here is most of those factions, they don't seem all in tandem with each other. And Robert Jordan really makes it seem like they don't like the dragon and they're going down there to forcibly attack the issue, which is probably to try and oust our boy Rand. But what I think is going to happen is I do think that one or two of them already want to swear fealty, and I believe that they will end up swearing fealty. However, normally what happens in the start of one book, so this one here, won't come to fruition until the end of the next book. So I don't think we're going to revisit that storyline anytime soon. The next thing that we get is we get Verin. Now, Verin is like a strange character. I don't particularly like Verin, but we have had her there for a long time. She's been a staple of the books for, I can't remember what book she gets introduced at, but it's very early on. And although I don't particularly like her, I do have quite a lot of respect for her. She seems very logical and she seems very intelligent as well, and is willing to get the job done. So when we join Verin, she has managed to convince the Aiel that she is okay to be the one questioning the captured Aes Sedai. And what she's actually doing is secretly putting them under pretty much compulsion. To do what? We don't know. Now, we do get in her head, and Robert Jordan suggests that what she's trying to do is keep the dragon alive, so keep Rand alive, but we don't know why. But I think that Robert Jordan is trying to set me on a false trail. Is Verin a dark friend? My head says yes, and the reason my head says yes is because that's what Robert Jordan wants me to think. I think. So the reasons I think that he wants me to maybe think she's a dark friend is because we have the Moridin chapter straight afterwards where he talks about having friends in high places, and he really, I believe he's insinuating that Verin is one of those dark friends right there as well. And compulsion is not exactly the nicest thing to do. However, my heart says that Verin is still on our side. My heart says that she and Moiraine were good friends. She's not on the same level as the previous Amyrlin seat, Swan, but I just think that Verin is a good Aes Sedai overall, but we shall see. I've definitely been wrong before. And one thing that reminds me of is, I don't think we got an answer to this, but who killed Asmodean? We never really got an answer to that, or if we did, I've completely forgotten it. And it had to be somebody who is trusted by Rand, because that was a very individual camp. That was really only the Aiel, and obviously some guests that were there as well, some high up guests. So who killed Asmodean is still a big question on my mind, and that just reminds me that we definitely do have some traitors, and I think the story would be amiss if we don't have some big traitors that are close to Rand by the end of the book. I just hope it's none of our main characters, because I love them and that would be absolutely heartbreaking. Next up we see the Gholam, and then I believe Moridin afterwards, both having watched the girls in Ebu Dar. And let's start with Moridin. So Moridin is watching, and Robert Jordan is really good at this. So Moridin notices that, I think it's Avinda, picks apart the weave after she's gone through the traveling window, portal. And what Robert Jordan is really good at is reminding us that all of our insecurities are in our head, and we often we give too much credit to other people, and we give ourselves not enough credit at all. And he does this all the time in really simple ways, with Rand, Mat and Perrin all thinking the other one is better with women. But we even see it here with the Forsaken. Even as the reader, I believe the Forsaken have a ton of really cool skills, abilities that are gonna dwarf the abilities of our team. However, Moridin is really impressed with how they're able to pick apart the weave, something that I think he either hasn't seen since Age of Legends or has just never seen done before, something that they weren't able to do. So it's a nice reminder that our team is really doing things that haven't been done before. And it's the same with Nynaeve. I think Morgidia maybe had an idea that you could fix stilling, but hadn't seen it done in a long time as well. So yeah, it's encouraging to know that we really do have some really talented people that we're reading about and that are on our team as well. Now, when it comes to the Golem, this guy I think it's a guy, is really interesting because if he would manage to like get to that meeting of all the women who can channel, I really think he could reign free. Like, he would absolutely go crazy there because yes, Lan is there, but nothing can damage the Golem. We get a bit from his perspective. He's never been hurt before that amulet, and that really scared him. So it's interesting. I do believe he's got to be either an Elfin or an Eelfin. That would be my prediction, just based on the snake-like how they look. But I don't know what else would be able to damage the Golem. So it seems like it's destined for Matt to take that Golem out. But it also said there were 6 of them, so there might be 5 more, which is really stressful for our squad if only one amulet can kill them. I don't even know how you go about getting close enough to put the amulet on them on purpose. It would be really difficult. So they're going to have to, you know, reverse engineer that and find a different way of harming these golems, and that would mean just finding out more about them, which I'm down for. So of course we get a ton of the Bowl of Winds. We see the Bowl of Winds being used, and during these interactions there's a ton of politics, and it sucks. It's back to, you know, no faction trusting each other. You have the Knitting Circle, you have our girls and the Aes Sedai, and then you also have the Sea Folk people. No one trusts each other. It's just pure friction, constant, all the time. Not very fun to read. However, we do get some interesting tidbits come out. Robert Jordan loves to lay bread trails and foreshadow pretty much everything, and it's my first ever read through, so I'm sure I've missed tons, but I feel like I am getting a little bit better at picking out bits. So at one point they're talking about linking together, and one of the older Aes Sedai mentions that it's impossible to take control. Not that it's impossible. They mentioned that there's been no way found to, you know, forcibly take control of somebody else's channeling ability. However, the way she says it gives me the impression that they do know a way, or at least a hint of a way of doing that. So I think that's something that will come up later, is there is a way to forcibly take control of somebody's channeling. I also feel like we've had so much mention of the woman, the Aes Sedai, and I can't remember her name, and she is the one who was studying all of the Terangriel previously, and she got burnt out. I think there's more information from her. I think she discovered a lot of things that just haven't been utilized, and eventually Elayne will make either the same discovery or like find her notes or something and realize that she was onto something huge. The reason I think that is because she just keeps getting brought up over and over again. If it was once or twice, okay, but I definitely, we've talked about her, you know, a lot, 5, 6, 7, 8 times across the course of the series. And then the Seanchan attack, we already knew this from the last book when the wall falls on Matt, but they attack the the farm where the Knitting Circle have been, you know, doing their thing. And Elayne really has a hero moment. She's the only one with enough strength to really open up the window for them all to travel through. And then she tries to pick apart the weave and kind of messes it up, if I'm honest, but it does a huge explosion and kills a ton of Seanchan warriors and maybe some people at the farm as well. Hopefully not, but I think that was implied. And a couple of things are really exciting about this. Number one, it was such a cool scene, and it was so cool to see someone that isn't Rand or Nynaeve really win like a big magical battle. Like, I was all the way down for that. It was so exciting to watch, and to have Avinda in on that as well, like them working in tandem and Avinda sending the fire through the window, like it was incredible, and I really didn't think we were going to get a scene like that this early. And it also puts Elayne much closer to the throne, where she can sit on it, like physically closer. So I'm hoping maybe she interacts with her mother and we get that throne scenario figured out sooner rather than later, because it's been teased for so long. I'd love to see her as a queen and for her to really ascend into a powerful position like Egwene has and like Rand has as well. We get a perspective of a Seanchan warrior flying on one of their big crazy flying things, and something they give away is something called skylights. And we know from the last book that Egwene kind of had like a premonition dream that Matt would reach up and grab what she thought was fireworks. However, this Seanchan warrior mentions that skylights are much more impressive than fireworks. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, obviously, but I still think Matt is going to end up running the Seanchan faction. I just feel like it's going to happen somehow. He's going to like marry into it, or he's going to luck his way in, and it's going to be so fun to watch. But he also has all those old memories, so maybe he has memories from like Arthur Hawkwing, I should say, and a few others as well. So I'm so excited to get back to Matt's perspective. The only problem is I know the next perspective is Perrin's, and it's not that I'm not excited to read Perrin's, but I just want to get back to Matt's. Like, I know he's not dead. He can't be. One of your main characters don't die from a wall falling on you. He may be captured, but he's so fun to read because of his luck factor. So I know my next section is Perrin, and my prediction for that is the same as what I had before. I think that he is going to take control of the Prophet's forces and make an attack on the Seanchan from that direction. And one good thing about the Seanchan attacking is it's finally giving us something to really unite the story faster. So I still have 7 books left, which is a really long time, but I just think we can finally start picking up speed and see some of these factions come together. And I'm just hoping we get some more cool scenes like we had with Elayne and Avinda coming together to battle the Seanchan. Like, I would like to see more of our main characters and factions come together and just see their capabilities also. Outside of that, I really appreciate you coming along this journey with me. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notifications button so you can come on this journey, and have an amazing day.